What was my boyfriend doing behind my back? I work at a rapidly growing tech startup, and my boyfriend, Jake, is a software engineer at a different firm. We have always talked openly about our careers, but when I got put on the shortlist for a massive promotion to director of product, he started acting genuinely weird. Not just distant, but actively secretive. I would walk into the living room and he would instantly swipe to a new desktop screen on his laptop. Once, I found a sticky note by the coffee maker with the names of two of my company's board members written on it. When I asked him why he was writing down my executives' names, he just mumbled something about reading an article on TechCrunch and quickly crumpled it up. Then came the weird interrogations. I would be pacing the kitchen, agonizing over my final presentation, and instead of giving me a pep talk, he would interrupt to ask oddly specific questions. He would ask exactly what my user retention metrics were for a feature I launched 2 years ago, or what specific coding language my old team used. I would tell him, and he would just nod, pull out his phone, type something in, and go totally silent. I started venting to my friends that he was either getting insecure about me out-earning him, or worse, trying to interview at my company to compete with me. It felt like he was studying my career just to pick it apart. After 3 grueling months of interviews, I actually got the job. Jake took me out to a nice dinner to celebrate, but his reaction was just this quiet, guarded statement of how he always knew I would get it. He spent half the dinner checking his phone under the table. I felt so entirely disconnected from him. The next morning, I was building my new department budget and needed a vendor pricing sheet Jake had mentioned a few weeks prior. He was in the shower, so he yelled through the door to just search his laptop and forward it to myself. I found the thread, sent it to my own email, and opened it on my phone during my commute. I scrolled down past the attachment and I froze. The thread was not just to a vendor. He had forwarded the pricing sheet to a prominent startup advisor who sits on my company's board, and below that was a massive chain of emails going back to the exact week I was shortlisted. The sticky note, the laptop slamming, the weird questions about my old metrics. Jake had spent months quietly compiling my portfolio, my successful launch data, and my leadership history, and sending it to 3 different board members and executives. He had been aggressively lobbying for me behind the scenes, but the part that made me start crying right there on the train was his final reply to the board advisor. He wrote, "Please make sure my name never comes up in the hiring discussions. She deals with a lot of imposter syndrome in this industry, and if she gets this role, she needs to know she earned every single bit of it on her own merit." All those times he was staring at his phone while I stressed about my interviews, he was not ignoring me. He was answering questions from executives about my work and carefully hiding his tracks. When I got home that night, he was just casually washing dishes in the kitchen. I did not say a word. I just walked up, slid my phone across the counter with the email open, and watched his face. He read it, his neck instantly turned bright red, and he avoided eye contact. He just awkwardly dried his hands on a towel and muttered that he really thought he deleted the history on that forward. I just buried my face in his chest and held him, finally realizing the guy I thought was analyzing my flaws was actually just standing right behind me, making